few athletes in history have dominated their sport the way Novak Djokovic has in tennis. He has broken records, defeated legends, and redefined what it means to be a champion. But did you know that, as a child, he trained in the middle of a war zone, practicing tennis while bombs fell near his hometown? His journey from a young boy in Serbia to one of the greatest tennis players of all time is a story of resilience, discipline, and unshakable mental strength. Over the years, he has faced rivalries, injuries, controversies, and doubts, yet he continues to rise, proving time and time again that he is one of the most relentless competitors the sport has ever seen. With his unmatched ability to adapt, fight, and overcome challenges, Djokovic has built a legacy that stands alongside the greatest in history. But what makes him so special? What struggles did he endure to reach the top? And how did he manage to challenge and surpass legends like Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal? Stay with me until the end of this story to discover how Novak Djokovic became one of the most dominant players in tennis history. And if you enjoy learning through inspiring biographies, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Novak Djokovic was born on May 22, 1987, in Belgrade, Serbia, which was then part of Yugoslavia. He grew up in a modest family that ran a small restaurant and ski resort. His parents, Srdan and Dejana Djokovic, worked hard to support their 3 sons, with Novak being the eldest. From a very young age, Novak showed an intense passion for sports. His father initially wanted him to become a skiing champion, but everything changed when, at the age of 4, Novak saw a tennis court for the first time. Fascinated by the sport, he picked up a racket, and from that moment, tennis became his greatest obsession. At the age of 6, Novak's life changed forever when he met Jelena Jenčić, a legendary Serbian tennis coach who had trained some of the country's best players. She immediately recognized his talent and told his parents, "This is the greatest talent I have seen since Monica Seles." Training with Jenčić was intense. Novak practiced for hours every day, even under harsh conditions. But life in Serbia was not easy. The late 1990s were a time of war, and his childhood was marked by air raids and bombings. He and his family often had to take shelter in basements, but even during the war, Novak continued training on damaged courts, proving his relentless dedication to the sport. At the age of 12, his coach realized that if Novak wanted to reach his full potential, he needed to train abroad. His family made a huge sacrifice to send him to Germany, where he joined the prestigious Nikola Pilic Tennis Academy. Leaving home at such a young age was tough, but Novak knew it was a necessary step toward his dream. During his years in Germany, he trained with some of the best young players in the world. His game rapidly improved, and he became known for his incredible work ethic, determination, and mental strength. Even at a young age, his ability to stay focused under pressure and fight for every point made him stand out. By the time he was 14, Novak had already won several junior international tournaments, proving that he was ready to take the next step. His journey from a young boy practicing in war-torn Serbia to a rising star in tennis was just beginning. By the time Novak Djokovic turned 16, he had already gained attention in the tennis world as one of the most promising young players. His talent, combined with his relentless work ethic and mental toughness, set him apart from his peers. In 2003, he officially turned professional, stepping onto the ATP Tour with big dreams and even bigger ambitions. His early years on the professional circuit were filled with challenges. Competing against experienced players, he had to adapt quickly to the speed and intensity of the game. His breakthrough came in 2005, when he reached the 3rd round of Wimbledon, a remarkable achievement for a young player ranked outside the top 100. In 2006, Djokovic won his first ATP title in Amersfoort, Netherlands, proving that he was ready to compete at the highest level. That same year, he broke into the top 20 of the world rankings, marking the beginning of his climb to the top. His rise was not without setbacks. Despite his talent, he struggled with physical endurance, often experiencing breathing issues in mid-match retirements. Critics questioned whether he had the stamina to compete with the sport's best players. Everything changed in 2007, when Djokovic made his first major impact on the Grand Slam stage. He reached the final of the US Open, defeating top players like Andy Roddick and Rafael Nadal along the way. Though he lost to Roger Federer in the final, the world had taken notice. Djokovic was a real contender. In 2008, he won his first Grand Slam title at the Australian Open, becoming the first Serbian player to achieve this feat. His victory was a turning point, solidifying his status as one of the sport's elite. That same year, he won a bronze medal at the Beijing Olympics, further proving his ability to compete on the world stage. As Djokovic continued to rise, so did his rivalry with Federer and Nadal. The three players would go on to define an entire era of tennis, producing some of the most thrilling matches in history. His path to dominance, however, was still filled with challenges. He needed to improve his fitness, consistency, and mental resilience to truly challenge the two legends who had dominated the sport for years. Determined to push himself further, Djokovic made a critical decision that would change his career forever: a complete transformation of his diet, training, and mindset. This was the moment that would turn him into one of the greatest players the sport had ever seen. Novak Djokovic had already proven himself as a top player, but there was still a gap between him and the two greatest rivals of his career, Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. While he had the talent, he needed something more to break their dominance and become the best. In 2010, he made a life-changing decision that would transform his game. After years of struggling with breathing issues and endurance problems, he discovered that he had a gluten intolerance. By switching to a strict gluten-free diet, he improved his stamina, recovery, and overall physical condition, allowing him to compete at the highest level for longer periods. The impact of this change was immediate. In 2011, Djokovic had one of the greatest seasons in tennis history. He won 3 Grand Slam titles, the Australian Open, Wimbledon, and the US Open, and dominated the tour, defeating Federer and Nadal multiple times. That year, he achieved a 41-match winning streak, one of the longest in tennis history, and finished the season as the world number 1 for the first time. His dominance continued in the following years. In 2015, he reached the final of all 4 Grand Slams, winning 3 and finishing the year with a record 11 titles. No player had been able to control the tour so completely since the peak of Federer in the early 2000s. The 2016 season was another historic moment for Djokovic. By winning the French Open, he became only the 8th player in history to complete a career Grand Slam, winning all 4 major tournaments at least once. Even more impressively, he held all 4 Grand Slam titles at the same time, a feat known as the Joker Slam, something that had not been done in nearly 50 years. As his career progressed, Djokovic continued to break records that many thought were untouchable. He holds the record for the most weeks as world number 1, surpassing Federer's long-standing mark. He also became the player with the most Masters 1000 titles, proving his consistency at the highest level. One of the defining aspects of Djokovic's career has been his rivalries. His battles with Federer and Nadal have produced some of the greatest matches in tennis history. The 2019 Wimbledon final against Federer, where he saved 2 championship points, is often considered one of the greatest Grand Slam finals ever played. Djokovic has also dominated the Australian Open, making the tournament his fortress. He holds the record for the most titles in Melbourne, showcasing his unmatched ability on hard courts. As he continued to rewrite the record books, the debate over the greatest tennis player of all time became more intense. Federer had the elegance, Nadal had the fighting spirit, but Djokovic had something unique, the ability to adapt, evolve, and overcome any challenge. His reign at the top was not without obstacles. As he reached new heights, he also faced new challenges, both on and off the court. Novak Djokovic's journey to the top of tennis has been filled with victories, but also with challenges and controversies that have shaped his career and public image. While his dominance on the court is undeniable, his personality, decisions, and strong beliefs have often placed him at the center of heated debates. One of the biggest challenges he faced early in his career was his physical endurance. Before making major changes to his diet, Djokovic struggled with fatigue and breathing issues, often retiring from matches due to exhaustion. Critics questioned whether he had the stamina to compete with legends like Federer and Nadal. His transformation into one of the strongest and fittest athletes in the sport silenced those doubts, but new challenges soon emerged. His on-court behavior has also been a subject of controversy. Djokovic is known for his intense emotions during matches, sometimes breaking rackets or arguing with umpires. While many admire his passion, others see his reactions as a lack of control. In the 2020 U.S. Open, his frustration reached a boiling point when he accidentally hit a line judge with a ball, leading to his disqualification from the tournament. It was one of the most shocking moments of his career. Off the court, Djokovic has been outspoken about his beliefs and personal views, which have occasionally sparked controversy. He has been critical of certain medical practices and has promoted alternative healing methods. But the most significant controversy of his career came in 2022, when his stance on COVID-19 vaccination led to one of the most dramatic events in tennis history. As countries implemented strict vaccine mandates for travel and sports participation, Djokovic refused to take the vaccine, citing personal freedom and medical choice. His decision led to a global debate about individual rights versus public health measures. In January 2022, after arriving in Australia to defend his Australian Open title, he was detained by immigration officials and later deported, making headlines around the world. This event divided opinions. His supporters saw him as a defender of personal freedom, while critics accused him of ignoring public health responsibilities. The situation also affected his ability to compete in other tournaments, as some countries maintain strict entry requirements for unvaccinated individuals. Despite these setbacks, Djokovic remained determined to compete and win, adapting to the constantly changing circumstances. His ability to stay mentally strong through adversity has been one of his greatest assets. Beyond controversies, Djokovic has also used his platform for charitable work. He founded the Novak Djokovic Foundation, which focuses on early childhood education in Serbia and supports underprivileged communities. His contributions to humanitarian causes show a different side of him, one that is often overshadowed by the controversies surrounding his career. As Djokovic continued to fight for titles, his legacy became more complex. He was not just a champion, he was a symbol of resilience, individuality, and defiance. His next challenge was not only maintaining his place at the top but also shaping how history would remember him. Novak Djokovic is not only one of the most successful players in tennis history but also one of the most complete. His game is built on precision, adaptability, and incredible defensive skills, making him one of the toughest opponents on any surface. One of his greatest strengths is his return of serve. Many experts consider him the best returner in tennis history. Unlike most players, who struggle against powerful serves, Djokovic can neutralize even the fastest serves, immediately putting pressure on his opponents. His ability to return with depth and accuracy often turns defense into offense, allowing him to take control of rallies early. His movement on the court is another key factor in his success. Djokovic's flexibility and balance are unmatched, allowing him to stretch for impossible shots while maintaining perfect control. His famous sliding on hard courts, a technique rarely seen before him, gives him an extra advantage, helping him reach difficult balls with ease. Djokovic's defensive abilities often force opponents to play extra shots, leading to unforced errors. His court coverage and ability to turn defense into attack have made him one of the most frustrating players to face. Many players have said that beating Djokovic requires not only skill but also extreme patience and mental toughness. Another signature part of his game is his two-handed backhand, which is one of the most reliable and effective in tennis history. Unlike many players who struggle when pressured on their backhand side, Djokovic uses it as a weapon, hitting powerful and precise shots down the line or cross-court. His forehand, once considered a weakness early in his career, has developed into a powerful shot that he can use to dictate points. Combined with his ability to absorb and redirect pace, Djokovic's ground strokes allow him to stay in control during long rallies. What separates Djokovic from most players, however, is his mental strength. His ability to stay calm under pressure, save match points, and fight back from difficult situations is legendary. He has won multiple Grand Slam finals after being down 2 sets, proving his incredible resilience. His focus and emotional control are also key to his success. While he has had moments of frustration, he has developed a reputation for thriving in high-pressure situations. Some of his greatest victories have come when he seemed on the verge of defeat, yet somehow found a way to turn the match around. A perfect example of his mental toughness was the 2019 Wimbledon final against Roger Federer. In one of the most dramatic matches in tennis history, Djokovic saved 2 championship points and won in a historic tiebreak, despite being outplayed for most of the match. His ability to stay focused and execute his game plan, even under extreme pressure, is what makes him one of the greatest competitors of all time. Djokovic's commitment to physical and mental training has allowed him to maintain his dominance even as he gets older. His dedication to yoga, meditation, and breathing techniques has helped him stay balanced both on and off the court. His playing style, combined with his mental fortitude and tactical intelligence, has made him one of the toughest opponents in the history of the sport. As he continued to rewrite tennis history, the question remained, where would he stand in the debate about the greatest player of all time? Novak Djokovic's impact on tennis extends far beyond his records and titles. His legacy is defined not only by his dominance on the court but also by the way he has reshaped the modern game. One of the most significant aspects of Djokovic's legacy is his role in the greatest era of men's tennis. Alongside Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, he formed the Big Three, a trio that elevated the sport to unprecedented levels. Their legendary battles created some of the greatest moments in tennis history and pushed each player to new heights. Djokovic's ability to break the Federer-Nadal duopoly and establish himself as their equal, or even their superior, was one of the most remarkable achievements in sports. While Federer was admired for his elegance and Nadal for his warrior spirit, Djokovic became known as the ultimate competitor, capable of defeating both in their strongest environments. His records speak for themselves. He holds the record for the most weeks as world number 1, surpassing Federer's long-standing mark. He has won all 4 Grand Slam tournaments multiple times, including dominating the Australian Open, where he has won more titles than any other player in history. His consistency across different surfaces has set a new standard in men's tennis. Djokovic's influence is also felt in his approach to training, recovery, and mental preparation. His focus on nutrition, flexibility, and holistic well-being has redefined what it takes to stay at the top of the game. Many younger players now follow his example, incorporating yoga, meditation, and strict diets into their routines. Off the court, Djokovic has played a significant role in promoting tennis worldwide. He has worked to improve player conditions on the ATP Tour, advocating for fairer prize money distribution, especially for lower-ranked players. His involvement in tennis politics has made him a strong voice in shaping the future of the sport. His philanthropic efforts have also left a lasting impact. Through the Novak Djokovic Foundation, he has invested in early childhood education, particularly in Serbia, helping thousands of underprivileged children gain access to better learning opportunities. His commitment to giving back to his country and supporting young talent has made him a role model beyond the world of sports. Despite the admiration and respect he has earned, Djokovic's legacy remains one of the most debated in tennis history. His rivalries, controversies, and strong personality have divided opinions. Some fans see him as the greatest player ever, while others still argue in favor of Federer or Nadal. Regardless of personal preferences, one fact remains clear: Djokovic has redefined what it means to be a champion. His relentless pursuit of excellence, ability to overcome adversity, and dedication to self-improvement have cemented his place among the legends of the game. As his career continues, the question remains: how much more history will Novak Djokovic write before he finally leaves the sport? Novak Djokovic's journey from a young boy in Serbia to one of the greatest tennis players of all time is a story of determination, resilience, and unbreakable mental strength. He has shattered records, redefined the sport, and challenged the limits of what an athlete can achieve. His battles against Federer and Nadal have produced some of the greatest matches in tennis history, and his ability to adapt, evolve, and dominate across different surfaces has made him one of the most complete players the sport has ever seen. What do you think? Is Novak Djokovic the greatest player of all time? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story and want to keep improving your English, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Do you want to improve your English 20x faster? Whether it's grammar, conversation, or fluency, we have the perfect material for you. Click the link in the description or the first pinned comment and take your English to the next level.